Welcome back. A new bill on the House floor could help students train for the workforce at both the high school and college levels. Its sponsor says it would make students better prepared for the job and help the local economy by bringing in more employees. House Bill 517, otherwise known as the TRAIN Act, would bring in industry professionals to K-12 and college classrooms to help teach the next generation. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo shows us the bill's potential impact.
A bill in the Alabama legislature could make it easier for full-time professionals to help out at local schools and community colleges, better preparing the next generation for their career. House Bill 517 would establish the Talent Readiness and Industry Needs, or TRAIN Act. If passed, it would allow local businesses to partner with educational institutions to help provide career and technical training to high school and college-age students. Those businesses would get a tax credit to lend their employees to an eligible school. Employees would have to go through a certification process to be able to teach, but they would already have years of experience under their belt. And those years of experience would help students learn what a job is like, what they need to do to get the job, and how to best prepare themselves for a career. Administrators at Northeast Alabama Community College say it's an exciting prospect that would help their students and the workforce at large.
Companies that are saying yes, we'll love to come teach that, and them come in and the kids be able to talk to them about professionally, what do you do every day, and what does this job look like when I leave here. So I think that would benefit our students a lot.
The bill just went to the House floor, so it's still in the early stages of legislation, but local schools are already eager for the opportunity to bring in even more industry professionals. In Rainsville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
The bill has already passed the House committee, but it still needs approval from both the entire House and the Senate before heading to Governor Kay Ivey's desk to be signed into law.
Disturbing body camera footage shows Austin police officers racing to stop the mass shooter who killed 3 and injured over a dozen. The suspect, armed with an AR-15, gets out of his SUV and shoots a pedestrian in the parking lot. He then walks toward a popular bar. The crowd ducks and runs to safety. As 911 calls pour in, officers respond within 57 seconds. Police say the suspect also fired into the crowd outside the bar from inside his SUV, using a semi-automatic handgun. Officials say that video is too disturbing to release. The victims identified as 19-year-old Ryder Harrington, 21-year-old Savitha Shawn, and 30-year-old Jorge Peterson.
I want to again recognize the bravery of our officers. You saw that firsthand as they ran into danger to stop this. It is quite clear that they saved multiple lives.
Police killed the shooter, who is identified as 53-year-old Njaga Junya, a naturalized U.S. citizen from Senegal living near Austin. Officials say police responded to a mental welfare check on him in New York in 2022. He was wearing a Property of a Law sweatshirt with an Iranian flag t-shirt underneath, and authorities found pictures of Iranian regime leaders in his home. The FBI is still investigating whether this was an act of terrorism.
The potential for terrorism, that had to be investigated, and it is.
And Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza says his office finished its review and will not seek charges, calling the officers heroes, but it comes amid major backlash about the progressive DA's policy that requires all officer-involved shooting cases to go before a grand jury. In Dallas, Brooke Taylor, Fox News.
While waking up can be hard enough already, losing an hour of sleep can make matters worse. And as most Americans prepare to move the clocks up an hour this Sunday for daylight saving time, sleep researchers and psychologists warn this action can pose a number of health risks.
Heart attacks, strokes, traffic accidents, mood disturbances, higher risk of suicide, all related to sleep deprivation.
Many experts say this time change can impact people differently.
Older adults who tend to have higher rates of infectious disease and perhaps more physiological vulnerability, that this might be a more intense shock to the system because of the increased stress that comes from that lack of sleep. School children, for whom sleep is vitally important for their mood and cognitive functioning, that we might see some detrimental effects in terms of academic performance and behavioral issues.
Meanwhile, fatigue from lack of sleep can also contribute to economic harms.
Due to loss of productivity, absenteeism, healthcare costs.
So what can folks do leading up to Sunday's switch?
Instead of having that 1 hour shift happen overnight, then in the days leading up to daylight savings time, you might, for example, start waking up 10 or 15 minutes earlier or later so that your body more gradually adjusts rather than experiencing this sudden disruption in your sleep patterns.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Of the flights getting out. These are flights of people who have tickets already. They've been cancelled over the past 7 days, so they are the ones that are being repatriated first. We had an updated figure from Dubai airports. This is the 2 international airports here, saying that since Monday night, more than 1,100 flights have been facilitated, saying that 105,000 outbound seats have managed to be put into place. So a lot of people are managing to get out. There are an awful lot more that would like to get out. But we are seeing an increased number of these flights. Now, when it comes to Qatar, for example, we know that the airspace is still closed there, but Qatar Airways has said that they are operating more flights now from different areas. Oman, for example, which has its airspace still open. We know a number of people have been trying to move across land to get to Muscat to try and fly out from there. We heard from the UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, just yesterday on Thursday, saying in the middle of the day, 4,000 UK citizens had managed to get out of the UAE to the UK. And he said that there were going to be a number of more repatriation flights that were going to be carried out Thursday night and then overnight as well. So it is picking up speed. At this point, though, it is people who already had a ticket for the past 7 days that had it cancelled. To buy a new ticket is economically restrictive as well as difficult to even find a seat. We just had a look online trying to find an Emirates flight from Dubai to London. We couldn't find one until this time next week, and it was $7,000 one way per passenger. So it is nowhere near what it usually is. This Dubai, for example, the international airport is usually the world's busiest international airport. You've usually got about 700 flights a day taking off, tens of thousands of passengers coming through that airport. We are still at a fraction of what we saw, but the number of European countries that are starting these repatriation flights from Dubai, Abu Dhabi, also from Oman, is starting to pick up. So hopefully within the next few days we will start to see that crunch ease somewhat. I have to point out, though, that there is, of course, still concerns about the fact that there could be incoming projectiles in the air. In fact, the French transport minister said that one French repatriation flight had to be turned around coming from the UAE, they said, because there was missile activity in the area. So there is still obviously that concern. And as of this point, Tehran is showing that it still does have that ability to fire missiles and drones into the Gulf area.
Yeah, Iranians waking up to what, as you said there, is some residents calling the worst night they've seen so far. Our friend Plykin in Tehran talking about heavy strikes before dawn. So this perhaps the back end of what Israel announced yesterday, the 14th wave of strikes against Tehran. They say they've hit yesterday 2,600 targets so far. And indeed this morning, an evacuation order for part of the city of Qom. Israel talking about the next phase of their war against Iranian targets being underway and saying surprises are potentially in store here. Iranian state media referring to about 3,000 residential buildings they say have been hit at this stage. But at the same time too, US officials have been saying yesterday that they are seeing a 90% drop in Iran's missile launches and an 83% drop in their drone launches. So clearly a suggestion from the Americans that this wave of attacks is seeing some kind of impact on Iran's ability to project abroad, while at the same time, though, interestingly, again, we have another morning in which countries across the Gulf who prior to the conflict were suggesting the US and Israel should not launch something like this, or again, it seems under some form of attack. Qatar, Kuwait and Saudi Arabia referring to interceptions around their territories, and 2 residential buildings and a refinery hit in Bahrain. At the same time, it's important to remind everybody we still do not have a new supreme leader in Iran. We are now heading into a week potentially since the killing of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and while there's been chatter about in Iranian state media about this announcement being imminent, that's been going on for days. President Trump has very publicly said he wants somebody in charge who he approves of. He wants to be involved in the decision-making process. An extraordinary suggestion, frankly, given it's normally done by 88 hardline senior clerics who've been trying to meet, it seems, over past days to get that done. But is this a political off-ramp? We don't know at this stage. Separately, Israel has taken this opportunity and the remarkable move by Hezbollah in Lebanon to try and avenge the death of Khamenei, to launch an exceptionally aggressive campaign to the north here. Evacuation orders in southern Beirut overnight, heavy airstrikes reported in that area of Dahir, which is a traditional Hezbollah stronghold, and also to southern Lebanon under a massive evacuation order as well. This is hundreds of thousands of civilians scared, on the move, worrying that the assault they saw in late 2024 may be even more intense this time around as well. But look, a region, I think, seeing now the unintended consequences of this conflict spiraling out, and still the outstanding, extraordinary question amid ferocious airstrikes against Tehran, who is in charge in Tehran itself?
Saw the jobs report come out with a very weak number. 92,000 jobs were shed during the month. And the one pillar of the economy, healthcare and social assistance, actually lost jobs. That's because there was a strike across much of California and in Hawaii in the Kaiser healthcare system. And that alone shaved 27,000 jobs off of the total. We did see a slight downward revision to January, although the 126,000 was not much from what the 130,000 we saw previously. More importantly, is the unemployment rate actually edged up, even though participation in the labor force fell. That's a bad combination. What we saw was the number of people who were employed fell, along with the number of people who are unemployed rose. What we've seen is it's very unusual. I call it a jobless boom. We've seen economic growth without major job gains.
Chances are you've been called about your car's extended warranty, or more recently, gotten a text saying you have unpaid traffic fines. This is National Consumer Protection Week, advocating for protection against scams that trick people out of their money or ask personal information.
A lot of our businesses in the state are legitimate businesses, and they do very good business. They've been in the state for a long time. So those legitimate businesses will allow the consumer to take their time to make an informed decision, gather information.
The DCCA and tax organizations warn citizens to be aware of any type of scam, especially during the tax season. And if you do come across a potential scam, they say report it immediately.
We want you to know that the Internal Revenue Service will never call and threaten to put you in jail if you don't pay immediately with the go put money on a card, that kind of thing. That is not our mode of operation. So please, don't do it.
With the tax filing deadline coming up, the IRS released their dirty dozen list of tax scams, such as AI-generated IRS impersonations or identity theft to gain access to someone's online IRS account.
If someone is calling you from the Internal Revenue Service, you can always ask them for their badge number. And you can make sure that you are speaking to an agent, but they will never try to strong arm you or threaten you in order to get money quickly.
We really encourage Hawaii Tax Online, which is our online system, in which you can actually see if there's any return filed in your name, and you can alert us to that scam filing.
We'll have links to learn more and report potential scams posted on our website, khon2.com. Nathan Shinagawa, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
Nike says its job cuts and severance costs will result in expenses of $300 million. The athletic wear company revealed plans this year to lay off around 775 workers as part of its turnaround strategy. The cuts involved workers at Nike's distribution centers in Tennessee and Mississippi, cutting about 1% of the total workforce. Six Flags is selling 7 of its amusement parks. EPR Properties is scooping them up for $331 million in cash. Six Flags will use the money to pay down debt, simplifying its portfolio and strengthening its balance sheet. EPR will team up with Enchanted Parks to run 6 locations in the U.S. And airport lounges are shrinking. Sidecar is American Express's new 1,500 square foot lounge in Las Vegas, with seating for 33. Travelers can't get in until 90 minutes before departing. It features signature cocktails, mocktails, and light fare. But there are no buffets, showers, or phone booths for private calls. CJ Papa, Fox News.
It's that time of year again. Sunday, March 8th, Spring Forward, an hour starting at 2 a.m.
With Spring Forward specifically, people tend to have a little bit more difficulty acclimating to it.
Michelle Drerup with Cleveland Clinic says data shows this shift in time can lead to a rise in cardiovascular events and accidents. Sleep disruptions can also affect mood due to grogginess, headaches, fatigue, and increased irritability.
We just want to be cautious if you're driving in those early mornings after the time change. Sometimes people may decide like, okay, I'm going to on that Monday morning, I'm not going to schedule anything that takes, a lot more focus or high kind of, attention task.
Drerup says preparing now before the time change is key. Start by gradually adjusting bedtime and wake time. Go to bed 15 to 20 minutes earlier and wake up 15 to 20 minutes sooner. She says it's especially important for children and teens.
So it's not a big hour chunk at one time.
Maximizing light exposure in the morning is also key. Drerup says opening the blinds and going outside to walk will help wake you up. And while it's tempting, she says to avoid midday snoozes and not to compensate with over-caffeination.
Which may help in that moment or for that day, but then potentially puts us at risk for having more difficulty falling asleep that night, depending on timing of when a nap or caffeine use is occurring.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A new push to get medical schools to step up their nutrition training.
Today, the average medical student report receiving less than 2 hours of nutrition education every year. And that ends now.
Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has spent months pressing schools to increase nutrition education, threatening to cut funding for those that refuse. He has long argued doctors are undertrained in nutrition, leading to a focus on treating chronic diseases with medication instead of preventing them with diet.
On average, medical schools have required only about 2 hours of nutrition education to earn a diploma. 2 hours.
The new initiative asks medical schools to review how much nutrition training they teach, appoint a faculty member to oversee nutrition education, and show how they plan to hit 40 hours of nutrition education. Kennedy says the initiative is not meant to mandate a specific curriculum, but provides a framework schools can adapt.
To be clear, today's announcement is not the Trump administration dictating medical curricula.
Some experts argue Kennedy's premise that doctors don't know enough about nutrition and just push pills is incorrect and misdiagnoses the problem. They say financial and time constraints are why Americans struggle to eat healthy, and because fast food is so convenient and cheap. More than 50 medical schools have voluntarily agreed to take part in the new nutrition training initiative. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
UAH Chargers not only looking to defend home court tonight, but also win their way to the Gulf South Conference Championship game this weekend. But to do so, they'll have to take down the Trevecca Nazarene Trojans. UAH down 4. Bella White passes to Paris Opel, drives it into the paint, pump fake, lays it in for the 2. Chargers now only down by a pair. Chargers with the ball here, still in the first. Millie Brown, kick out pass to Bella White, puts it up for 3, got it to go. Chargers still down 1, but that will change quickly. Lily Wilkin, quick pass to Brown in the corner, got it. Chargers now up by 4 at the end of the first frame. On to the second quarter. Lily Wilkin heavily guarded here. Shot clock winding down, finds Chloe Siegel from the logo. Why not? Got it to go as the buzzer sounds. UAH up 20 going into the locker room. Third quarter, passes around the world, gets it to Siegel in the corner, puts it up and connects. UAH still rolling. Wilkin with the ball, drives it all the way to the board. That's good for the 2-pointer. Fourth quarter, White finds Siegel. Siegel puts it up and it goes. She had 15 points on the night, and the UAH Chargers are headed back to the GSC Finals. They win this one 80-61, and it's a finals rematch from last year. UAH will host Union in the championship game this weekend.
It's not something that we take lightly, and for whatever reason, it's kind of fallen into place the last couple of years. Now, we didn't get it done last year. Hopefully, if you get there enough times, you'll win it at some point. But we are in the championship game, and that's exactly where you want to be at the end of the year.
We want to win one in Spraggins, and that's the goal. And Coach was telling us, he's really proud of us. But again, we're not done. We're looking towards the next one now.
The Chargers will look to clinch the GSC championship on Sunday right here inside Spraggins Hall.
Moving over to the college level now, Alabama A&M wrapping up the regular season with the Southern Jaguars. Lady Bulldogs taking control early. Jada Belton getting the rock in the paint and scoring 2 of her game-high 17 points. She also had 14 rebounds. Then Alabama A&M shooting it well from the outside. Kariah Beck connects from three-point range. Lady Bulldogs led 11-2 at that point. But the Lady Jags, they fight back. Demaya Porter working hard inside and getting the bucket for SU. Then off the miss, Joycelyn Tate crashes the boards and scores 2 of Southern's 12 second chance points. Lady Jags down by 6 at that point. Second quarter, Olivia Delancey getting the ball on the block, scores and 1. Lady Jags take the lead at that point and go up by 2. Time winding down in the second quarter, Kayla Walker connects from three-point range, and the Lady Bulldogs led by 1 at the break. Let's go to the final moments of the game. Alabama A&M with a 2-point lead. Southern with a chance to tie. Joycelyn Tate gets a great look at the basket but misses the layup. Alabama A&M gets some insurance free throws, and they go on to win by a score of 64-61. Lady Bulldogs head into the SWAC tourney on a 17-game win streak.
Take a look at the moment a driver going the wrong way on a highway is nearly hit head-on by a semi-truck. It happened on Interstate 35 in Oklahoma when a state trooper spotted the vehicle going northbound in the southbound lanes. The trooper sped up to catch up with the vehicle just in time to see a semi-truck swerve at the last second to avoid hitting it. According to the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, the driver was arrested for operating the vehicle with a reported blood alcohol level more than twice the legal limit. They cautioned residents never to drive drunk, reminding them that with the touch of a finger, ride shares are available within minutes. From a no-brainer to a brain teaser of sorts in the Philly area, where folks at Patco, a local transit line, are asking for residents to make bets on when a massive gnarly snow pile in one of their station lots will be fully melted and gone. The area got absolutely shellacked with snow this winter, and if I had to live in that, I'd probably be looking for happy distractions too. Patco has actually done this before. They asked for guesses on the fate of a pile in the same lot in 2018, and more than a month later, it was still hanging on. A correct guess on this latest mess could mean $20 in prepaid train fares. Finally, a gruesome mess found in an Ohio sheriff's office led to a canine becoming the prime suspect in an inside job. After discovering the tattered remains of a stuffed lamb, Lucas County deputies say all signs pointed to their canine cop, Moby. A humorous post showed the accused heading to the Internal Affairs office claiming he'd been framed. But when asked for comment, he declined, mainly because, well, He's a dog. Don't worry, though, Moby won in the court of public opinion. He was sent all kinds of new stuffed toys and treats from fans following the case. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
It comes after multiple radar scans detected grave-like anomalies from the old Oaklawn Cemetery in this parking lot next to the Trop. And now crews will dig to confirm those graves and search for any artifacts that might remain. Council approved the new funding with a unanimous vote, but historical records show there are 2 other adjacent cemeteries. One councilman says they deserve the same attention.
This matters as well to descendants. You know, the rest of us want to make sure that we have done our due diligence to find out if in fact there are remains underneath those grounds.
Digs around Tropicana Field are set to happen this fall after baseball season ends.
Fox 54 Plus has your news, sports, and weather. Start your evening with Fox 54 at 5:30, delivering the latest headlines and live reports straight from the scene. Then stay informed with Fox 54 News at 9, featuring your Tennessee Valley certified most accurate weather impact team, tracking everything from tornado threats to traffic delays during severe weather. Fox 54 Sports Extra brings you more of what sports fans crave, with deeper insights, expert analysis, and all the action that matters most. On Fox 54 Plus, you'll also find Alabama politics, plus 24/7 weather radar and real-time forecasts to keep you ahead of the storm. Looking for a quick recap? Don't miss Fox 54 Week in Review, highlighting the biggest stories of the week. Jumpstart your morning with Morning Rush. Fast-paced news updates featured with uplifting stories from across the globe. Get your entertainment fix with Getting Real, where we break down movie reviews, top 10 lists, and spotlight the newest film. Die Hard fan? Locked On Sports dives deep into the Crimson Tide, the Tigers, college rivalries, and pro action. True Crime Warrior Style? Killer Cases brings you gripping real-life stories that stick with you. Hungry for more? Cooking with Style serves up mouth-watering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. From movie previews before you head to the theater with Take a Look to must-know headlines from across the region and around the world with In the News. Watch all of these shows on demand and also on the Fox 54 News app. Available on Android and iOS devices. Streaming 24/7.
Did you know that you can get weather impact updates 24/7 on Fox 54 Plus? Here's how. Go to Fox 54 Plus on your Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, or Samsung. Once you're on the main screen, push the down arrow and click on the Fox 54 Plus Weather Impact 24/7 block. Here, you'll find radar, current temperatures and conditions, traffic cams, forecasts, and more, all available on demand. Want to get back to the main channel? Just push the down arrow and click on the 24/7 stream button. It's your weather impact updates 24/7 on Fox 54 Plus. Start streaming today.
There's more to Fox 54 Plus with the Locked On Podcast Network. From the Tide to the Tigers, from college teams to pro, the Locked On Podcast Network gives you insights and analysis you just can't find anywhere else.
These kids, they want to play.
And I don't think so. I think it was Chad Baker from Mazzara.
Locked On Sports, streaming every day of the week and right here on Fox 54 Plus.